Hi everyone! This presentation will be on ethnographic research design, which reflects Chapter 14 of Creswell's book on educational research. We will start with the theoretical underpinnings and grounding assumptions. Ethnographic design is a fully qualitative design and inquiry. Research questions revolve around studying a culture-sharing group of people in their environment. Ethnography focuses on describing, analyzing, and interpreting a culture-sharing group's shared patterns of how they behave, their thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions, and their language of how they talk to others in the particular cultural setting. Researchers, called ethnographers, spend time in the field to gather this data, focusing on studying the culture. Ethnographers engage in fieldwork where they spend time in the identified environment with the culture sharing group to observe and collect data. So, when do you use ethnography? As mentioned, we use ethnography to capture the rules and patterns of behavior of the culture sharing group. These behaviors are typically ones that have developed over a period of time. You can utilize ethnographic design when it's possible to have long-term access to the culture sharing group. In order to gain a deep understanding of the culture, ethnographers must spend adequate amount of time with the participants and can either be an observer or a participant in the group to gain this information. How did ethnography develop? Ethnography stems from cultural anthropology and sociology. Anthropologists from the 19th and early 20th centuries wanted to explore primitive cultures by becoming immersed in their society and communities over a period of time. In other cases, researchers wanted to study single cases of groups of people. From this, ethnography emerged as a way of gaining knowledge about a culture by providing objective accounts and gaining insider perspectives. Approaches to ethnographic design. There are different approaches to the ethnographic research, each depending on the chosen purpose of inquiry. The three main are realist ethnographies, case study, and critical ethnography. So the form of realist ethnography is practiced when the ethnographer takes on an objective account of the situation. They are objectively reporting information learned from participants at the field site and will present the inquiry in third-person narration. The ethnographer focuses on just reporting the facts, though the final interpretation and presentation is made by the ethnographer. Case study. This involves the in-depth exploration of a bounded system. This involves the study of a particular case, such as an event or activity involving individuals, or a case that illustrates a process or series of steps of an activity. With a case study, ethnographers might focus on the specific activity or event involving the individuals rather than focusing on the group itself. There are three types of case study that ethnographers often study. First is the intrinsic case. This is a case that might be chosen to study because it's unusual or interesting. For example, the study of a bilingual school. Instrumental case. This is a case that's used to illustrate an issue. For example, the issue might be of language learning, and therefore the case study might be a bilingual school. And third is the collective case study. This is where multiple cases are studied and compared to give insight on an issue. For example, more than one bilingual school might be used to address the issue of language learning. Third is critical ethnography. Here, ethnographers have the intent to advocate for marginalized groups in society and address social issues such as empowerment, inequality, and victimization. Compared to the realist ethnographer who stays an objective observer, Critical researchers are self-aware of their role and are upfront with their written reports. They recognize the biases, values, and other views. Critical researchers need to be careful as to how they interpret their data, and are concerned with how participants will view them, especially since their intention is to advocate for them. Collecting and analyzing data. Researchers gather qualitative data in the setting of the participants in a variety of ways, such as casual conversations, observations, interviews and questionnaires, and even audiovisual materials such as photos. There are different types of data that is collected by the ethnographer from their fieldwork. First is emic data, which is information given by the participant, for example, through quotes and stories from participants. There is etic data, which is information representing the ethnographer's interpretation of participants' perspectives. So this might be when an ethnographer is making interpretations from these quotes and stories. And there's negotiation data, which is information that the researcher and participant agree to use in the study. Negotiation occurs throughout the whole research process, such as agreement of the entry to the research site, ensuring the respective individuals at the site, as well as gaining consent from the participants and possible gatekeepers. Reporting data. It's from the data collection that the ethnographer begins to forge the study by describing and analyzing patterns for behavior, beliefs, and language. These descriptions need to be detailed and thick and identify specifics. This might mean including adjectives, nouns, verbs, things to elicit sights, sounds, and feelings and smells to the reader of the report. To make sense of this rich data, ethnographers engage in thematic data analysis, where they need to develop themes from the data by coding the data. From this, the ethnographer will make inferences and reach some conclusions about what is learned from studying the cultural group in their particular context and environment. Because ethnography is reliant on the researcher as the instrument for data analysis, the interpretations and reporting of the data has to be done reflexively. This means that the ethnographer needs to be aware of and openly discuss his or her role in the study in a way that honors and respects the site and participants. The ethnographer recognizes and identifies their point of view and that it is not the authoritative view. The conclusions made by ethnographers are often inconclusive and can lead to new questions. Ethical issues and credibility. With all research, especially qualitative designs, there are ethical issues and concerns on the credibility when it comes to ethnographic research. When ethnography was becoming a more widely used form of research, Clifford and Marcus in 1986 challenged ethnography on issues of representation and legitimacy. Therefore, ethnographers must be open and transparent about gathering data, which is why the reporting of data must be done so with great detail. They must respect participants and be aware of the potential negative influences their representations may have on the population, and ensure that the research protects the participants. And they also need to practice reflexivity by understanding their role and point of view in the study and recognizing that their conclusions are often inconclusive and might lead to more questions. And that concludes my presentation on ethnographic research design. Thank you.